Ozzy Osbourne is like a maniac. That's kind of his public image. So it's funny to see him take this moral stance. Kanye West removes sample after Ozzy Osbourne blasts him as anti-Semite. There is an elderly-looking Ozzy Osbourne and Kanye West pictured, and this is from Rolling Stone magazine. Ozzy Osbourne blasted Kanye West on social media on Friday, claiming the rapper used a recording of a Black Sabbath song without Ozzy's permission and against his will. The rapper ultimately released the Vulture song Carnival without the sample, so he kind of respected Ozzy's wishes there. One thing that I almost forgot, which this Rolling Stone article mentions, is that Ozzy Osbourne's wife Sharon is Jewish, so don't be surprised by this decision by Ozzy. Ozzy mistakenly originally said that Kanye had sampled his song War Pigs, but he deleted that tweet and re-upped it with the correct song, which is Iron Man. That's maybe a testament to Ozzy's not being so sharp mentally for his recreational drug use. Here is singer and rock star Ozzy Osbourne on Twitter, now known as X. At Kanye West asked permission to sample a section of a 1983 live performance of Iron Man from the U.S. festival without vocals, and was refused permission because he is an anti-Semite and has caused untold heartache to many. He went ahead and used the sample anyway at his album listening party last night. "I want no association with this man!" ! All caps. So Ozzy Osbourne has bit the head off of a bat. He has an image as, worshipping the devil and satanic throughout his career, but associating with Kanye West is a little too far. Let's look at a few of the replies to Ozzy. How is this being received on X? iHypocrite says, fair use. Asking is a courtesy. We did learn something, which is that Kanye asked permission from Ozzy Osbourne. That must have been a funny phone call. At any rate, because on Ye's other song, Everybody, which is arguably better than this song, it was kind of assumed that Ye did not even ask permission from the Backstreet Boys. Or rather, it was reported that he didn't ask permission, like he just used it, which is kind of funny. But in this case, he tried to get Ozzy Osbourne's permission for that Iron Man riff from Ozzy's Black Sabbath catalog, which is arguably some of his best music. Not to say that it really works too well in Ye's song, frankly. Here's another reply. Thank you, Ozzy, for doing what's right. At least some of the 80s rockers that I listen to are still sane. So he's getting some support from the Jewish community. It's kind of ironic to say that Ozzy is still sane. Isn't that his calling card, that he's insane, he's a wild man? And here's another comment. Legal action incoming. So is Kanye West allowed to sample from Iron Man, from a live performance? So since some people on X were speculating that this could be fair use, let's dig into what fair use actually means. A common example of fair use, according to TunePocket.com, is for criticism or review, for comment, news reporting, or educational. None of which is what Ye is even remotely doing. Another component in terms of determining whether it qualifies as fair use is whether there's a commercial component to your work. Surely there is if Ye is selling his music. The nature of the copyright content, how much of the copyright music is being used, and how your work affects the copyright owner. So I think it's a pretty small portion that's being used from his album Vultures. It's not really the best song on the album, frankly. Charming lyrics. Very charming. So we're coming towards the sample. It's a little abrupt. Another thing is that the sample is live. Very random. It's so random the way it comes in there. I wouldn't exactly say it flows with the rest of the song. Is it legal? Again, that's for the lawyers to decide. I think the fact that it's a relatively short sample and that it's from a live performance might be in Ye's favor. the fact that Ozzy's not happy with it might be a mark against it because as we just read, the way that your work affects the copyright owner is considered part of fair use. So if Ozzy is upset, then maybe that's a problem for Kanye West. It's a bizarre song, frankly, and I do like some of Ye's music. I used to like Ozzy Osbourne a lot. I just kind of grew out of that kind of music, but I used to be a big fan of Black Sabbath, some of Ozzy's best work, and Ozzy Osbourne's solo material. Ozzy Osbourne is like a maniac. That's kind of his public image. So it's funny to see him take this moral stance. The response is mostly positive to people, but the story is mostly funny because, like, when you listen to the sample in the song, it doesn't musically really do that much for anybody. But that's Kanye West, man. He's going to do what he wants to do. I will say his sample of the Backstreet Boys in his song Everybody was probably more effective. I'm Michael McCara. Thank you so much for listening. Check me out on Twitter. My handle's in the description. And finally, like this video and subscribe to my channel.